What happens when a league completely neglects its marquee moment? What's up, y'all? It's Derek, the marketing point guard, and today we're talking about the NBA Finals and their lack of branding. Let's get into it. After Game 1, it became clear that the NBA had completely underestimated what fans appreciated about the NBA Finals. And honestly, this has been a really long time coming. After they first introduced the Finals on-court logos in 1989, and then it peaked in the 2010s with the larger-than-life Larry O'Brien at center court, they have just been slowly stripping away all the things that they had built up and created all these nostalgic moments around, right? So first, those logo graphics that we saw, during the prime Kobe years and the beginning of the Heatles, those went away. And they cited, player safety concerns for those, and they kind of stripped it back from the center court, and then they added the script logos inside the paint as like kind of the solve, and then that eventually went away. The Finals patches that were on the jerseys moved from the front to the back. The starting fives and the national anthem and all of the pageantry of the pregame, completely removed. Even the fun Finals intro that ABC used to produce that showed the highlights and the great calls from the past, blending it all from the past to the present to making the now feel important, completely minimized. So why would the NBA do something so egregious? There's two answers: money and neglect. As much as we're fans of the game and want to keep things pure, I'm very aware that this is a business, and all businesses aim to grow. And the NBA is just like everybody else, every other league, looking to find brandable assets and moments that they can elevate through sponsorship. And that's fine, but elevate and not eliminate. You see what I'm saying? I think that's the part that the NBA missed. And so if you look back at all these pieces, there is a money component that can explain it. So with the Finals patches, right? Those are on the front of the jersey because that's where the NBA logo used to be. And once they moved the NBA logo to the back to accommodate Nike and local patch deals that the teams could sell, it's already on the backside. So when the Finals come, there's no placement on the front that could fit. Cool, understand that. Now you got the center court branding. The NBA modernized the Finals logo to accommodate sponsorships. And you go from this elegant, iconic script logo to a more modular version, right? And that only goes to work with partner logos, right? Like you want your logo to be minimized and simplified so that the partner has some value. So when you go sell that sponsorship as the presenting sponsor of the NBA Finals, they're not competing with the logo. They're, kind of equal parties and supportive and almost stand out more than the Finals logo. So they do that for a couple years, there's uproar, and we at least get the script logo back in 2022. But again, you don't make that decision unless you're trying to figure out how to sell a product and sell that asset. But the on-court graphics, or lack thereof, this year was literally the final straw. It's just, to turn on the NBA Finals and it feel like just another game is a complete loss. And I can't fathom how they fumbled this. The NBA wants to position themselves to be team agnostic or market agnostic, but this was a huge miss. I mean, here's what Adam Silver had to say.
The goal is to have a league where every team is in a position to compete. It's one thing I really admire about the NFL. I mean, if we were going into a Super Bowl and it was Packers against Steelers, you guys would be celebrating that. Those would be storied franchises. People wouldn't be talking about, the fact that Pittsburgh is a small market. So
I get that the NFL is the North Star and the Super Bowl is this iconic American pastime at this point. So it's going to be hard to match that, right? Like, yes, we don't care about a Steelers versus Packers Super Bowl, even though those are small markets, but we care about all the other things in the Super Bowl as well. And that's what makes the Super Bowl the Super Bowl. That's what makes it a holiday. That's what gets everybody in your family to want to watch, is because there's not just the football aspect of it. There's all these other ancillary moments that they built up to be their own moments. And that's what the NBA is missing with the Finals. And that's where the NBA's lack of investment in those moments shows up, right? The NFL can have a terrible Super Bowl, like we had this year with the Eagles and the Chiefs. Even though you have some big-time markets and big-time names, the game was awful. But you know what? Halftime show was the most watched in history. That's because you got Kendrick Lamar and Apple Music supporting that. I mean, even the Super Bowl commercials are must-see TV. And it's all of these things around the game that make it important. And the NBA is refusing to invest in those things for their game. So even though money is the easy answer for a lot of these problems, there is unfortunately another issue, and it's neglect. Here's what Adam Silver had to say. I hadn't thought about it all that much until I thought about it. I'm nostalgic as well for certain things, and also I think for, media-driven culture, whether it's people watching live or seeing those images on social media, it's nice when you're looking back on highlights and they stand out because you see that trophy logo or some other indication that it's a special event. Come on, man. Like that's literally what we're all saying. And it seems like it just went straight over the NBA's head for some reason. They just didn't even consider that people care about this, and you have your biggest games and your biggest moments unbranded. Like you could watch all these compilations on YouTube of biggest game winners and iconic moments. And if you're watching a highlight reel, Tyrese Halliburton's game-winning shot just looks like a regular season game. And that's crazy. It's the NBA Finals. You should care because we do. And look, I can understand any other league making this error or having this oversight, except for the NBA, because they have shown that they care and understand this. They put all this energy into the NBA Cup. We got custom courts. We got a custom Wilson ball for the final game. All these different things. They put patches on those jerseys. All these different things to let and signify to people that, hey, this is something different. This is something new. This is something you should care about and you should be engaged with and watch on TV. Why not apply that same energy to the finals? It's like we're losing so many recipes right now. And it's like, I think we're all just grasping for like some semblance of a familiarity and tradition with the NBA. It's like they've taken away the Christmas jerseys, right? We lose that. Cool, whatever. Now the All-Star game is a complete joke. Nobody even tries, so there's no energy or tradition around that. And so the finals was like our last glimmer of hope, the highest level of basketball, the best players in the world. Yeah, it's time to go. Like let's set it up. Let's get active. Nothing. And then for game 2, they double back with like some petty graphics. They put a digital trophy on the court and the digital final script logo. And it's like, I guess beggars can't be choosers, but it's like, it's something. But I guess the optimism I have is that they hear us. They hear the complaints. They see the error of their ways, and they're going to do something about it. So the digital graphics, although comical, are literally a Band-Aid for this moment. But I understand that once they really get in the lab and address this need, we'll see something really creative for next season. I assume Victor Solomon already got a call to cook up some championship courts or something of that nature, just so we can have it be special. And I think that's the thing, right? These critiques and these feelings aren't coming from a place of maliciousness or ill intent. Like, at least I'll speak for myself. I love the NBA. I love the finals. I love everything that it provides. Entertainment-wise, storyline-wise, historic-wise, tradition. Like, that's the stuff I enjoy as a true hoop head and a basketball fan, And it seems like the NBA, of all people, kind of lost sight of that. And, it's our job, to kind of call them out in that as fans, right? I think in the grand scheme of all this stuff that they're building and producing, the fan sort of gets lost in that. We don't get the same jerseys. We get new jerseys every year because Nike's trying to try something out. We get all these crazy courts and all these crazy colors because they're trying to elevate new products and grow their revenue. And all we ever get is the same kind of basketball. And honestly, they're dressing up things like the NBA Cup to make sure we just get competitive basketball, which we should be getting anyway. So it's unfortunate from when I take off my marketing hat and really just sit here as a basketball fan. It's frustrating, right? And, you could dress up all these new things in these different ways to try to get that attention, but you got to take care of home court. You got to go big for the things that matter. And, if you fail to make it important, if the energy feels less important around it, the product will ultimately be less important. And in this age where everybody's grabbing for attention, you don't want to be left out. And you know, it's kind of weird to say, but there's Love Island on right now, and that's a huge trending topic. And you got bad games on that don't feel important, people gonna click and change the channel, right? They lucky that HBO don't have a prestige show on right now that could capture everybody's attention. So you want to make sure that you plant your flag in the ground around your moments, and you give it the energy that it deserves and it requires to make people care. Right? And again, I'm not asking for too much because you know how to do this. You did it with the NBA Cup. Do it with the NBA Finals. But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. Again, I'm still locked in. I love the finals. I'll be watching. And if you liked watching this, or if you agree, disagree, hit me in the comments. Let me know what you feel. Like and subscribe to the channel so I can keep giving you guys more content like this. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.